You guys ever wake up and do that kind of swallow that tells you you're about to get really sick? So a while ago, I did a tier list on all of the ordnance in Borderlands 4 of the grenade kind, and I actually ended up putting the buoy at the bottom-most tier. I said that it was basically unusable and there was no situation where you should be using it in this game. Well, today, Gearbox have released a buff to the buoy, which has buffed it by 150%. Now, this appears to be the only change they've made to the grenades, so we're going to go and check out if it has made it any better at all. I'll make my prediction before we go over there, and that is a big fat no. I do think the buoy is one of those grenades that is just fundamentally bad. I don't think a damage increase is going to do much to it, but who knows, I could be pleasantly surprised. So let's go and check out just what has happened to it as a result of the buff. Now, if you don't already know where to get this grenade from, you need to go to Voraxis, who you'll find in the Fade Fields. The entrance is right here at this cave, and then you'll be following through the cave like I am right now. And for my testing today, I'm using Sloppenheimer Aimon. It's on my channel if you want to go and check it out. It's an ordnance build that uses just one gun, which is really, really neat. But we're going to see if it can use just one grenade with the buoy, but first we have to get it dropped, so let's do that now. Okay, so we've got ourselves a buoy here, and as you can see, the damage is sitting at around 29,000. Now, according to Loot Lemon, prior to the update, it was sitting at around 8,000, so that's just a rough number, obviously not down to the absolute decimal. Your roll is going to make it highly dependent on the damage it has, but as you can see, it got a pretty massive increase. Alright, so we're at Splash Zone, and we're going to try out the grenade and see how we're doing. Now, Splash Zone is currently the big encore, but for this test, I'm not going to big encore him first. I'm going to pop my action skill, and let's just see what the buoy can now do. Okay, it killed me. It killed me instantly. Now, let's try to be a little more wary of how we're using it. The damage is better. I'll say that. It's definitely better. I'll let you decide if on a dedicated ordnance build this is acceptable damage for it, but it's certainly better than what it was, for sure. Now, again, my personal thoughts on this grenade is that the damage isn't the center of the issue. As you can see, the main issue with the buoy is that there is just no form of seeking on it or any way to get an enemy to it if it doesn't initially hit them, and that makes it really difficult to use in that regard. Now, what I would personally like to see them do with this grenade, in at least my opinion, is I would like it to seek out enemies instead of destroying itself at the projectile's life cycle end. Right now, it has a 10-second timer, and then it will go and explode on its own if nothing touches it. But I would really like to see it instead float towards an enemy and blow them up. I think that would be a better use for it, because as you can see, if you are just unlucky enough to miss it when you throw it out, you basically completely waste the charge. And as you can see here, the range it has when you punch it, it doesn't go very far. So that's a big problem, right? Like, that's a pretty big one. I'm not sure if you guys agree with me there, but I would like to see it do some kind of homing right at the end. I just think it would take the grenade up an extra level, because you can't fix fundamental problems by just throwing damage at them. It doesn't always work like that. Now, another reason why I suggest the homing idea is because even when this grenade does hit post-buff, it's not the most exciting in terms of what you see it do damage-wise. So, for that reason, I do think a fundamental redesign is necessary here, because with Ordnance cooldown, I do think in combat, it would be very interesting to stack a bunch of these up and then wait for the timer to expire, right? And they all float towards the enemy at once. That would be pretty cool, and there could be extra synergy with allowing Aimon players, for example, to put up their firewall in the time that they're alive, so that when they do home, they go straight through the wall into the enemy. But again, you can see just with current mobbing, and this is just standard mobbing after the buff, the grenade is better, absolutely better, but still nothing to write home about. And I do think it's in line with a lot of what we've seen from Borderlands 4 when they try to fix stuff. A lot of Aimon skills that have fundamental issues are instead thrown values in hopes that it fixes the problem with them, when the actual problem, again, is that they just need a slight redesign. Okay, I think for one final test, let's do Big Encore Splash Zone, and let's see how the buoy does there. I actually think it's going to be enough to kill Splash Zone, but let's find out. Alright, let's try this again with Splash Zone here. Action Skill and Rep Kit are popped. I also will say that due to the nature of the grenade being that you want enemies to run into it, and when you throw the grenade, it puts it pretty close to where you are as well, I don't know how I feel about it dealing self-damage to the player. I know that it might break the design a little bit of the game to just suggest that a grenade doesn't deal self-damage to the player, but perhaps greatly reduce it. It just feels odd to me that if the boss is in front of me, I'm supposed to throw the grenade, hope they run into it, and it's pretty... I mean, I don't think that right there is close enough to damage me, but in combat, especially if the boss runs into me as I cast the grenade, then it's gonna blow me up. Like, for sure, that is going to happen in combat. And I just don't know. I feel like stuff like that is enough to just make this grenade not worth running. You don't want to take unnecessary downs in a fight if you don't have to. And that's all I can think when I see the way this grenade functions. I mean, even there, you just saw it in a live demo, it just downed me. Perhaps I'm nitpicking a little bit there, but I really don't know if I like that on the grenade. It just seems very unsafe, and I don't want to feel unsafe in combat. So in summary, I think the buff to the buoy damage-wise is pretty decent, but I just can't help but feel like, again, the problem with this grenade is kind of what I thought it was from the beginning, which is a fundamental design issue. I understand what they're going for with it, hence the name, but I just feel like it doesn't work as anything more than a gimmick item unless you A, give it 10,000% damage buff, or B, just redesign the way it works. Again, I would like to see the death effect of the grenade expanded upon more so you could intentionally use it that way. But you dirty frogs, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm wrong? Is the buoy your new favorite grenade, or do you think there's something else they could do to fix it? I would genuinely like to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will check you all in the next one.